when the entire society is becoming so bereft of the word love. See the contrast. When the general society is becoming so bereft of the word love and concept of love, we are getting deprived of those ideas. Togetherness, of harmony, of love, of acceptance, of accommodation. And then all of a sudden, only on one single day of 14th February, there is everywhere love around. When love is around so much, on billboards, to blackboards in the school, when this happens, then this is either a matter of great celebration or a matter of great alarm.
When did I first learn about the Valentine's Day? I don't remember the exact year, but I think it was roughly 20 years back, about 2 decades earlier. There's this magazine seller close to my house, and I visit this person every Sunday to buy magazines. I'm very fond of reading the magazines, Hindi and English both. So on this particular Sunday, when I went to him, I saw that in his shop was a rack stacked with many cards of the same variety. And out of curiosity, because it was not a festive season, out of curiosity, I read on those cards, Valentine's Day special and to my Valentine and so on. Now, I think I had never heard this word, Valentine. So I asked him, what's this? What's a Valentine's Day? And he told me, sir, this is something that has come from the West. And it's on 14th February. So at that time, I saw this as one of those fads that Indians have been loving to copy from the West.
पप्पू, आज कोई त्योहार आ रहा है क्या?
हाँ भैया, कौन अमेरिकी त्योहार है? वो क्या कहते हैं वैलेंटाइन? हाँ, वैलेंटाइन डे।
वैलेंटाइन डे? अच्छा, होता क्या है इसमें?
वो कहा है ना, लड़का है ना, प्यार जतावे के लाने, पटावे के लाने, ये बड़ा बड़ा कार्ड, फूल, जी बिल्कुल एक दूसरे को पटा लेते।
Oh my God, Suresh!
This is the world of Archie.
I didn't think much of it. But slowly over the years, I found that this Valentine's Day was growing more pervasive in its influence. More and more money seemed to be pumped into it. More and more teenagers seemed to be getting involved into it.
The first impact of it was that many newspapers started publishing Valentine's Day message contests. That I sent to my girlfriend, a message on Valentine's Day, and it gets published in the newspaper. And the newspaper started giving prizes to the winners. As a newspaper man, it was a great surprise and a shock to me, because I had never expected that a concept of love can be commercialized so dirty, in such a dirty manner, in such a quick way. Before I could realize that Valentine's Day's concept had got firmly rooted in Indian society.
I think everybody knows that teenage dating has no social acceptance in India. It is something which is not a part of our culture. And even the teenagers who do it, they want to hide it from their parents. And especially on the day of Valentine's Day, they bring roses and they hide roses in their bags in schools. The teachers are out there looking out and punishing those students who are doing it, who are engaging in these kind of exchanges. It is a very awkward air in the school. I remember myself. In my school, I would walk carefully to make sure that, somebody doesn't slip a rose in my bag or somewhere, and I wanted to avoid that embarrassment.
And I've seen it in my own life when I was a student. You would see random boys in college approach random girls and women and say, will you be my Valentines? And that probably amounts to eve teasing, in my opinion.
I entered my first year college and I got proposal for 7 boys on Valentine's Day, 14 Feb. Will you be my Valentine? I can recall that card, and it was like big harassment for me, and I was feeling insecure.
There have been reports that eve teasing incidents go up in Indian cities on days of Valentine's Day.
वैलेंटाइंस डे के मद्देनजर चंडीगढ़ पुलिस के द्वारा शहर के मशहूर केडी रूट पर सुरक्षा के कड़े प्रबंध किए गए हैं।
Chandigarh had 44 nakas and more than 700 policemen deployed.
इस दिन किसी कुड़ी नाल कोई ईव टीजिंग ना हो जावे या किते कोई मुंडे हुड़दंग ना कर।
After joining the police force, after becoming a tough officer or tackling the cases of eve teasing, molestations, rape cases, or women who are victimized, then I realized it's just a day to abuse many girls rather than just respecting or showing the love.
As years passed, kind of physical dimension which the trend of Valentine's Day assumed started worrying me to a big deal, because I realized that many people, young people, who were indulging in that kind of a conduct in public were hardly into their teens, 14-year, 15-year-olds.
The focus and the target of Valentine's Day celebration is the youth, is the teenagers, and the playground is the schools and colleges where it is played out.
And we are celebrating this year Valentine's Day with each other, और हम लोग इस बार बहुत different way में celebrate करेंगे और एक दूसरे को expensive gifts देंगे and many more.
Many more methods were adopted by the society to exploit the concept of Valentine's Day commercially.
I would actually date the start of modern romance somewhere around 1850, when probably about the time that this woman, Esther Howland, started making Valentine's Day cards in Worcester, Massachusetts. Although never married herself, Ms. Howland's Valentine's Day cards represent the most important thing we need to know about romantic love. It was born alongside capitalism. Capitalism commodified our authentic human emotions into something we could buy. Ever since Ms. Howland started her business, capitalism and romance have been in bed together.
But I could see possibilities of this commercial exploitation leading to many ugly social trends.
वैलेंटाइन डे वाले दिन पुजारी आता है हॉस्टल और कॉलेज के लड़कों के साथ, हीरो और एक हीरोइन जिन्होंने इस साल काम अच्छा किया है। एक दमदमी माई होती है, एक दमदमी पिता होते हैं और बेसिकली वहाँ एक पूजा होती है।
जिस तरीके से वो पूजा होती है, जिस तरीके से वो आरती होती है और आरती के जो लाइन्स है वो टोटली एक वुमेन को एक ऑब्जेक्ट बना देती है और बॉयज खुल्ला उसको ऑब्जेक्टिफाई करता है।
They say that the condom, if it falls on anyone's head, that person will get laid and will get a girlfriend in the next 6 months.
They say that जय दमदमी माता, like तेरी काया मैं रात भर सोचूं, दिन में मतलब उसको चाहूं, and 36, 24, 36 they mention this.
Basically, a bunch of men sitting and commenting on a woman's body and picking the most perfect body to hang on a tree and objectify as well as worship.
In India, we are observing this as entire week.
फरवरी को मोहब्बत का महीना कहते हैं और आज से इस खास महीने की वैलेंटाइन
It starts from 7th of February and it comes to 14th of February. And when I was working in a school, children came to me on one fine day that, ma'am, this is the teddy for you. They brought a small teddy. They wished me happy Teddy Day. I asked them, what is this Teddy Day? So they said, ma'am, you don't know. This is actually Teddy Day and tomorrow it is something Rose Day or some chocolate day. It was, I don't remember it. So I asked them, what is exactly meant by Teddy Day? They said, prior to Valentine's Day, 7 days are this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and we are celebrating it. I said, why are you doing this? What is the significance? They said, we don't know. Everybody is celebrating, that is why we are celebrating. So I was very much surprised. From where it has come, they don't know. Why they are celebrating, they don't know. But they are celebrating and the parents are also in the situation that they have to allow.
If teenagers are celebrating it, do they know what love is? A. Do they know what the implications of having a sexual relationship with a minor is? C. Whose money are they spending?
When a group of young people are lost because the parents also don't know and HRD ministry doesn't know, school system doesn't know, they're all confused, culture ministry also doesn't know. I'm telling you that. This is very sad, but it is true. I meet some of these important people. They are also confused. So what is happening is that the young generation have no clue. So they go wherever something exciting is offered on a TV or an ad, they go here and there and they fall for peer pressure. Peer pressure means कि बाकी लड़के क्या कर रहे हैं? And they are like this, I'll also be like that. Otherwise I'll feel I'm left out. So wanting to bhed chal, wanting to join the herd, the herd mentality.
They kept flowing absolutely directionlessly. Everybody was doing, so they were doing. This kind of a mad mob frenzy caught up people's imagination.
The government releases new numbers on retail sales. Along comes Valentine's
Spend on upcoming Valentine's Day is expected to hit
Well, Valentine's Day is proven to be one of the most popular U.S. holidays, with over 55% of Americans celebrating this year. And you're not going to believe how much money the country is spending.
If you believe love was invented by Hallmark, it is indeed a day to celebrate love. In 2017, a report published in Times of India mentioned a senior executive from MasterCard saying that Valentine's Day is one of the biggest spending days globally. Let's look at some numbers. In the United States,
But we're looking at a big increase year over year.
Yes, $20 billion this year on Valentine's Day.
this is 2018. In 2009, this number was close to $18 billion. So the US has grown around 10% over the last 9 years or so. Let's come to India. In 2015, Assocham said that Valentine's Day online sales increased 40% from the previous year, from 16,000 crore rupees to 22,000 crore rupees, which is around $3.3 billion. Let's look at something like Diwali. On Diwali in 2017, as per Assocham, online sales were around 30,000 crore rupees or $4.4 billion. So, at least in terms of online sales, Valentine's Day in India is today as big as Diwali. So with these set of numbers, you can imagine how much businesses, retail businesses, confectionaries, restaurants, the gift business, the card business, how much they are interested in people celebrating love.
Then I started realizing that entire society was falling prey to a crass commercialization of a concept which was not defined at all.
You love the
the sound.
The amount of love that your friend has for you is now being equated with the commercial value or the monetary value of the gift that you receive on this particular day. And I see this day as a kind of day of opportunity for business enterprises. Like everyone is trying to make their hay while the sun shines.
A lot of people say, what's the problem with corporates earning on Valentine's Day? Why is it not different from, say, something like Diwali or Holi or Akshaya Tritiya? These are festivals which have had a long history, and these are all family celebrations. These are very inclusive celebrations, and I haven't, at least in my life, I haven't come across people who feel excluded on these festivals. But Valentine's Day is something which is exploiting the feeling of love, which is a very natural feeling in people. It's fine if you earn money on Valentine's Day, but do we also not need to think about what effect or repercussions is this unbridled or hyped celebration is having on people who are not in a relationship, or people who are single, people who are depressed, people who are going through marital discord, people who have been unsuccessful in their relationships?
It's Valentine's Day, a time for couples to express their love to one another. But for a victim of domestic violence, it could be a reminder of the pain in their relationship.
This is a day to celebrate love, but for some, it can be a trigger to return to a toxic situation.
Yeah, that is the situation here, Dave. You know, a lot of people struggle with that. And for survivors of domestic violence, that loneliness can lead them right back into the arms of their abuser.
Valentine's Day just around the corner. The FBI is warning those looking for love about online dating scams.
The Bureau received more than 15,000 reports linked to romance scams.
A lot of these scammers target people who may be lonely or at a vulnerable time, such as after the loss of a loved one or around the holidays like Valentine's Day.
The highest reported losses are hundreds of $1,000s. And these victims aren't uneducated or irresponsible people. They're simply lonely hearts, desperate for love.
What struck me as a psychiatrist was that over the years, I started seeing patients. I think this was roughly around 8-10 years back. Patients, young patients, adolescents, who started coming to me with their own emotional difficulties which centered around Valentine's Day. So I saw this day as a causative factor in some of the emotional difficulties that my clients were facing. Expectations about the kind of gift being given, expectations about the kind of coffee joint or the eating place where he or she was taken.
That is completely illogical. It makes no sense, but that is what has become a parameter of defining your love for your loved one.
Then I saw some difficulties with something that in psychology we call as a magnification. Magnification in psychology basically means overrating a particular factor. Especially in case of relationships which are already shaky, in doldrums. In these relationships, Valentine's Day becomes a bigger problem. Because, for example, if my relationship with my Valentine is already shaky, then I would be more watchful about what he or she is doing on this day. I might underrate it. It might not fulfill my expectations. So the magnification of the perceived deficiencies, that can become a problem.
वैलेंटाइंस डे के नाम से मशहूर ये दिन अब एक बाजार में तब्दील हो चुका है, जिसमें सब कुछ बिकता है। जासूस हायर किए जाते हैं।
जब आपको आपके किसी अपने पर भरोसा नहीं, तो आप वो भरोसा खरीदते हैं और फिर इस भरोसे की नजर पर विश्वास करते हैं। इसके बाद या तो आप जिंदगी भर के लिए किसी अपने पर भरोसा गवा देते हैं या फिर अपनी नजर में हमेशा के लिए गुनहगार हो जाते हैं। इस खरीद फरोख्त में प्यार का किस पड़ाव पर कत्ल हो जाता है, ये ढूंढना मुश्किल है।
Well, as a lawyer, we come across a lot of crimes against women round the year. But now that we are focusing more on the Valentine's Day, on that aspect, I want to say that because it's a month wherein the love and affection is being celebrated, a boy usually fears rejection. That's what I feel. The male ego, he'll always fear rejection from a girl he wants to be with, or he's in the so-called love with. So after that rejection, if if after that rejection from that girl, the jilted lover will always resort to a lot of methods to avenge the particular thing. For example, acid attack.
Girl working at a mall in Jaipur was attacked with acid while she was on duty. The accused
चलता फिरता इलाका है, बहुत से लोग मौजूद होंगे. आज तो वैलेंटाइंस डे का दिन भी है.
शुरुआती तौर पर ऐसी जानकारी आई है कि ये एक प्रेम प्रसंग से ही एक कोई
And the crime against women is more in a week of 14 Feb. That week we will be getting more and more complaints of girl molestation या कुछ भी है उनका कुछ कहीं पे छेड़खानी हुई है या फिर कुछ बड़ा प्रॉब्लम हुआ है छोटा प्रॉब्लम हुआ है. It is there. We keep बंदोबस्त also. कहीं कैंपसेस में कोई एरिया में जहाँ पे ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं कहीं एसिड अटैक्स के भी आ जाते हैं मैसेज.
Sometimes I have seen cases wherein there's a lot of physical violence inflicted on the woman.
This Valentine's Day, Savannah will be the beautiful backdrop for hopelessly in love couples. But in the shadows hide an ugly reality for many, the cycle of domestic violence.
A day supposed to be filled with love went in a completely different direction for one Brownsville girl. The teen and her boyfriend had apparently spent their Valentine's Day arguing. It's the hype of this highly commercialized day that Family Crisis Center legal coordinator Ana de la Cruz says can send a person...
Is, of course, February the 14th is supposed to be the date of or for love. And sometimes people are by themselves, and so they will do or take different action to try and get someone's attention.
It is a medium for a lot of young people to express their love and affection for the other one, and the person at the receiving end is quite vulnerable that time.
A lot of discussion about Valentine's Day in India is focused around its opposition by certain right-wing groups.
It's Valentine's Day today, and we're not surprised because you are seeing Bajrang Dal workers chasing couples in Ahmedabad.
પશ્ચિમી સંસ્કૃતિનું અનુકરણ છે તેના વિશે જ કેટલાય લોકો વિરોધ પણ નોંધાવી રહ્યા છે. XYZ સેના and XYZ દલ and Parishad do not understand.
Today is Valentine's Day. It's a day of love, which has become a day of hate. The moral police says love culture is ruining India, but young people say they have every right to fall in love and demonstrate it in public. So this is a big love debate that we're having on Valentine's Day.
I think it does deserve some discussion, but I don't see as much discussion or as much coverage to some more important issues like crime and suicide on Valentine's Day. Out of curiosity, I wanted to see if there is a tendency of people to commit suicides or if there are tendencies of criminal behaviors around Valentine's Day. So I did a small Google search, and what I found for this very year in 2018, there was a report from Hapur where a man killed a woman who declined his advances on Valentine's Day. There's a report from Aligarh where a student in his 20s shot himself inside the Aligarh Muslim University campus. There was a case in Mount Abu where a couple committed suicide. Azamgarh, Uttar Pradesh, where a man was arrested for eve-teasing a teenager, 14-year-old teenager, in front of her brother on Valentine's Day. In Assam, there were at least 3 suicides by couples. And these are just numbers based on a quick survey of English media sources that I did. I'm sure if you look at the vernacular sources, you'll find more incidents of suicide or crime on this day.
वैलेंटाइन डे का दिन एक युवती के लिए मौत का दिन साबित हुआ। इस युवती को छेड़खानी का विरोध करने की कीमत अपनी जान देकर चुकानी पड़ी।
वैलेंटाइन डे से पहले यूपी के सहारनपुर में प्रेमी जोड़े ने ट्रेन के आगे कूदकर जान दी।
मृत अवस्था में बॉडी लेके आए हैं। एक महिला है, एक पुरुष है। पुरुष लगभग उम्र 22 साल की और महिला 16-17 साल की।
I have observed that these kind of cases are quite on a high level during the Valentine's season.
So why are we not talking about this? To me, if 20 people commit suicide on a day, that deserves more attention than 20 incidents of moral policing or opposition to Valentine's Day by some fringe elements.
The psychopathology associated with Valentine's, it's of various types. One thing I've seen is that it generates, instead of love, anxiety in some individuals. Anxiety about being accepted, anxiety if the adolescent would be rejected or humiliated by the so-called Valentine if he or she does not accept her feelings.
In the US, there have been reports that suicide hotlines get more calls on Valentine's Day. In San Francisco, on the Golden Gate Bridge, there's a suicide prevention group which for the past 8 years has been patrolling the Golden Gate Bridge for loners who may commit suicide. And this year they had 100 volunteers patrolling. They had a big social media campaign to invite volunteers to do this.
Recently, over the last few years that in US has been seeing that the impact of Valentine's Day, apart from the family aspect and apart from the work situation, just if you consider the impact of Valentine's Day over the young students or over the teenagers, its effect has been catastrophic.
The search warrant says school surveillance video from Wednesday shows Owen arrive at school wearing a mask. Police say he took off the mask before going into the school. A student told investigators Owen pointed a gun at 3 students grouped together in the hallway and fired a shot. Police say Owen told them he had a note in his pocket. The note was a list that read, number 1, find ex-girlfriend. Secondly, kill ex-girlfriend. 3, kill other people. And 4, if you have a last bullet, take your own life.
The massacre that happened in Valentine's Day in Florida, where a student shot so many other students of his own school and his own community.
Just as the school day was ending, the shooting started. The gunman appears to have pulled the school's fire alarm to create chaos and then began firing.
It was a brutal act of violence, but, and yes, everybody's talking about gun control, but what goes behind it? What goes behind the psyche of the child who wanted to take such a strong revenge for a girl or a love not returned well?
There's the guy being put in the back of the car. He was taken into custody, I believe, about an hour after he left Stoneman Douglas, after he committed this horrific, homicidal, detestable act.
Now, this raises an important question as to why did this happen on the Valentine's Day specifically. Now, my thought on this is that Valentine's Day generates some specific kinds of emotions. It magnifies certain emotions. Now, because Valentine's Day signifies X number of things, so anything emotionally connected to that day would get magnified. Like the pain of rejection, the feelings of jealousy about someone who got his girlfriend, and those kind of things.
Student Ariana Lopez says the fight was over a girl Cruz briefly dated.
He would hit her, he would threaten her.
Cruz eventually expelled after the fight, but Lopez says she and her friends had made multiple reports to school officials before the fight, alerting them to alarming behavior from Cruz.
He texted them, threatening them, saying he was going to kill them and their friends and their families.
Nicholas Cruz appearing...
What was he missing in his life? What kind of communication, what kind of nourishment was he missing in his life? Or what kind of culture is this, where the youth have things in their mind where this love is so important in their life? This kind of romantic love exchange is so important and so paramount to their own personal ego that they will go to any extreme if that is not returned.
Just hours after the rampage, Kimberly Sneed...
If I look at the mind of an adolescent as a psychiatrist, I think this is a rather complex phenomenon which we would like to term as a biopsychosocial phenomenon. So it has all the angles to it. The biological angle would comprise of the hormonal changes, the brain changes that are happening at this growing age, the ability to absorb whatever the child perceives from the environment. The psychological angle is the psyche of the child, the particular temperament of this child, whether by temperament he is aggressive or he is of the quiet variety, how wise he is. And I think I would pay a lot of importance to the social side of the biopsychosocial. Because social side is the one which is determined largely by the parents, by the people around the child, by the media, what the child learns from the media.
That brings us to think back on what are we doing wrong culturally? How are we nourishing and what are we giving these children? What is the food for their mind? What is building and shaping their character, their personality, and what is driving their conscience to such extremes where they can take such brutal measures?
So I think we as adults have this huge responsibility that since the social aspect of aggression, it rests on us and solely us. I think we should be the ones who should be taking care of it. The parents need to be very watchful as to in which direction is the child going. The parents need to act as good role models of non-violence, of being able to handle frustration without getting irritable or without getting aggressive, of fostering the positive values in a young child. We maybe as non-parents, as people in the society at large, need to be cautious about what kind of things are we encouraging, what are we discouraging.
So that also brings us to a big question that society needs to rethink how we celebrate our festivals and what we do on them, on those occasions, and how those festivals or those Valentine's Day can just be an instigating factor for a young child whose love was rejected.
My love for you, Angie, will never go away. I hope to see you in the afterlife. On one day or another, you will end and we'll all die.
This day also gives the youth, the teenagers, an outlet to explore the unexplored, to go to newer heights. Maybe that could be wildest of sexual adventures, it could be drug abuse, or anything of that sort, which is very detrimental for them at that age. And that's happening a lot in US, and the government is also actively recognizing what's happening.
If we have not done something about this critical matter, by the time they are biologically capable of bearing children, even though they should not do so, we will pay an even greater price.
The President of US, Barack Obama, declared the month of 14th February, declared the entire month of Valentine's Day as National Teens Violence Awareness and Prevention Month.
A Valentine's Day message warns against the dark side of love, and it's coming from the Lorain County Children's Services. It reads, choose your partner wisely.
There are very active campaigns going on, especially I saw one in Milwaukee where they're working against this area of teenage pregnancies, and especially they're targeting for Valentine's Day.
Baby, you're the one. That's the message on a Valentine's Day card that a lot of people got today in Milwaukee. But inside is a warning.
It's a very different Valentine's Day message.
Did you guys get one?
Thursday afternoon, outside of Milwaukee's Riverside High School, these cards contribute to the United Way's Baby You're the One campaign to prevent teen pregnancy.
India has had a teenage pregnancy problem. We have the National Health Survey in the UK confirming that the officially recorded conceptions go up in the 2 weeks after Valentine's Day.
And it was very shocking for me to know from my medical doctor friends that post 14 February, they get visitors with very awkward demands. They get girls with very awkward demands. They get unmarried married girls with very awkward demands, which flummoxes them.
There are so many cases of children who are approaching me after Valentine's Day with the problem of depression, anxiety, or lost self-worth.
A similar problem I see with the proliferation of fairness creams. You advertise on TV that fair complexion is what is needed to do everything in life. A girl who's not fair complexioned gets rejected or is not successful in life, and once she puts on a fairness cream, she gets all the success and the attention. Does this not create problems for people who are not fair complexioned? I think it does. I think a similar thing works in case of Valentine's Day. If you have all the media hyping Valentine's Day.
This Valentine's Day,
Capture the spirit of love. At the end, it's Valentine.
या ये वैलेंटाइंस डे का मैजिक ही कुछ और है ना? क्या हुआ? कुछ नहीं.
What effect does it have on single teenagers or teenagers who don't have anybody in their life? Are they not prone to being depressed?
They will start comparing about their love life. One girl will tell the other girl that I have a boyfriend. This Valentine's Day, he's going to gift me this. He's going to take me out for dinner.
Those children who are actually not practicing this idea, they feel isolated. They feel that their self-worth is at stake if they are not having any girlfriend or boyfriend.
In 2015, Time magazine published the results of a survey done by a social media polling agency that polled 21,000 respondents, of which 98% were teenage girls. Of this set, 57% of respondents said that Valentine's Day is either painful, overrated, or irrelevant. And even a higher number, 68%, said the social media experience on Valentine's Day made them feel either jealous or depressed. Now, these are raw numbers staring at us.
So I tell you the case which came to me just after 2 days of Valentine's Day. A child in 10th standard, maybe in his 15 or 16 years, he was brought to me under severe depression. And just after 2 days of Valentine's Day, because this was having a background to it, the child was actually caught in his classmate's home when the parents were not there. When I went into the case history, I found that this girl, X, was in relationship with this guy, Y, and since both the parents of the girl were working, they were in their workplace, and this child came to that girl's house, and they had some physical intimacy moments, and all of a sudden, one of the parents came in, and the boy and the girl were in objectionable situation, and they were caught. This was made huge issue, of course, by the girl's mom, and the worst part is the girl denied that she had consented.
तुम रेप के आरोपी बनते हो, कहीं किसी के साथ 14 फेब की सेलिब्रेशन की भागा दौड़ में तुम रेप के आरोपी बनते हो, कितना बड़ा टैग ले लेते हो. That is what happening.
I was questioning myself that is it really child's fault or it is actually the belief system which is playing the role. The child told me that, ma'am, I was knowing that I'm doing something wrong,
But I was knowing that this is the day when I can do something. This is the day when I can propose her. This is the day when I can prove that how much I love her. And that motivated me. And she also was very much interested that this is the special day and what you can do for me.
If you read section 375 of the Indian Penal Code, an act of sexual intercourse with a woman under 18 years of age, with or without her consent, amounts to rape or sexual assault.
Because a girl who's under 18, consent does not matter. You have sexual intercourse with a girl under 18, that is rape.
So are the teenagers who are being influenced by Valentine's Day, are they aware of this? Are they aware of the case? What would happen if there are two teenagers, or if there's one teenager and somebody who's more than 18 years of age?
So I think Valentine's Day, without doubt, is acting as a catalyst for some of the negative human tendencies to come up. Now, when these kind of tendencies come up, I must say that it's not singularly Valentine's Day, but it's a whole lot of issues associated with that. Where are we as a society going?
These are the questions we need to ask. Well, if you reduce love to getting somebody by hook or crook, or as it is advertised, you need to have a girlfriend on Valentine's Day.
This Valentine's Day, don't hide from the one you seek. Get that conversation started.
And the societal pressure, social media, the whole cocktail results in so many different people feeling so many different emotions, and criminal tendencies, they may get the better of them.
पुणे में वैलेंटाइन डे पार्टी में एक एमबीए स्टूडेंट के साथ रेप का मामला सामने आया है। 26 साल की लड़की ने अपने घर पर ही पार्टी रखी थी, जिसमें 2 लड़के भी शामिल थे। आरोप है कि एक लड़का लड़की के कमरे में गया और उसके साथ रेप किया।
गाजियाबाद में वैलेंटाइन डे का दिन एक युवती के लिए मौत का दिन साबित हुआ। इस युवती को छेड़खानी का विरोध करने की कीमत अपनी जान देकर चुकानी पड़ी। हालांकि वारदात के कुछ घंटे बाद ही आरोपी ने थाने में आत्मसमर्पण कर दिया, जिसके बाद घटना के पीछे एक तरफा प्यार का शक भी जताया जा रहा है। मगर
लव इज a state of being, and if a person is in love, he cannot hate or he cannot harm the other person, his beloved. But to be in love is not that easy as it looks in the state of infatuation.
Love, being such a universal and such a pure emotion, has kind of lost its sense somewhere.
What happens during Valentine's Day proclaimed love is infatuation. Hardly cases would be there who actually are converted into a meaningful relationship.
One major issue that I find with Valentine's Day is that the celebration of the so-called love is highly lopsided.
It's more likely in my teen years and in my young years, I am likely to be driven by my emotion which is not well directed. So I feel attracted to a person.
So this idea motivates children to fall into the trap of illusioned concept of love. And this is where, since the base is itself illusioned, the base is itself hypothetical, the further journey is bound to get collapsed.
It's a kind of pigeonholing of love. So the message that the younger generation gets is that this is what love is, perhaps nothing more.
When that thoughtful devotion is the basis of love, which is never seen in the Valentine's Day messages or Valentine's Day atmosphere, then one feels worried about it.
Now, a lot of people raise this question that India is the land of the Khajuraho temples and the Kama Sutra. So why does Valentine's Day go against Indian culture? Well, I would say such people, obviously, who haven't read any of the Kama Shastra works in detail, have a very flawed understanding of Kama Sutra and the Kama Shastra. Kama Sutra India is not just about sex, it's also about a lot of other things. For example, it's about love, it's about attachment, it's about conduct in society, it's about common celebrations, it's about 64 arts, it's about a lot of other things. It's actually about urban living, and only a small part of it is about sex, as A.N.D. Haskar, the diplomat who recently translated Kama Sutra into English, has said. The Kama Sutra and the Anangrana describe 4 types of love. The best kind of preeti or love is what is called sahaja or naisargiki or abhimaniki, which is love without any common interest, which is love without any material benefits. And this is considered the best form of love. The second form of love, as they say, is what is called abhyasiki preeti, or love of common interest, love which builds on common interest. For example, in the olden days, hunting or a game of chess or music or poetry or literature. The third type of love, vishayatmika or vishayaja preeti, which is what grows by material benefits. For example, gifting somebody jewelry or flowers, the love which grows. And so you can probably consider the celebration of Valentine's Day that's limited to just gifting things today is probably vishayaja or vishayatmika preeti. And the fourth kind of love which these texts describe is called sampratyatmika or sama preeti, which is based on mutual trust and mutual belief. So it's not that, the Indian definition of love is much more wider than what is shown on Valentine's Day today.
I started realizing that it is not as simple and as celebratory as it appears superficially. Like I said earlier, patients started coming to me with their problems centered around the Valentine's Day. My reading and hearing much about Valentine's Day's facts slowly led me to a change of my opinion. So nowadays, I don't see this as a benign celebration, but I see this as a mixture of both plus and minus, both good and not so good.
In the recent years, what we have seen is also a positive form of protest. There's some organizations which are promoting 14th February as what they call Matri Pitri Pujan Divas, or the day of worshipping their parents. Now, I don't see a problem in that. If you're protesting something peacefully and bringing something else in place of it, and you have a point of view, well, this is a democracy. We welcome it.
14 Feb दुनिया भर में Valentine's Day के तौर पर सेलिब्रेट किया जाता है. You know, right? But here in our country, इस दिन को लेकर एक अलग ही ट्रेंड चल रहा है, और वो है #ParentsWorshipDay on 14 Feb.
The origins of the hashtag can be traced to some religious groups in India. They are against the idea of celebrating Valentine's Day, saying it symbolizes Western culture.
Our volunteers reach out to 300 institutes in each of the major cities. We talk about 300 institutes, that's like thousands of people. Together, this is adding up into millions of people every year are being touched with Parents Worship Day.
ये वचन देते हैं कि हम सब 14 फरवरी मातृ पितृ पूजन दिवस मनाएंगे.
I must appreciate the idea of Parents Worship Day, which is being celebrated in the entire country nowadays.
मैं सोचता हूँ ये जो आज कार्यक्रम स्कूल ने आयोजित किया है वास्तव में ये अद्वितीय है.
They were into tears. Yeah, I have seen. I was a part of so many functions of Parents Worship Day, and it's really wonderful.
I can show you some glimpses of the celebrations. You'll hardly find any of the event where people have not broke down into tears.
सबसे ज़्यादा फीलिंग्स मुझे उस मोमेंट में आई जब मतलब हम अपनी टीचर्स की गोद में सर रख के सब कुछ फील कर रहे थे. मतलब वो 15 मिनट सच में पूरी इमेजिनेशन जाग गई मेरी और मैंने मम्मी को बहुत याद करा. वो 15 मिनट का मोमेंट बहुत रोना आया. I can't control my emotions. I must tell you that you go to your home because we are boarders and we can't meet our parents, but you people can meet and go and hug your parents and say, I love you, literally, that we are missing a lot.
This is something that I cannot describe in the words because, you know, we can get gifts, we can get so many things from anyone, but the respect I got today is something that I cannot even describe. I was crying, I know, I was crying bitterly, but this is something that I never feel so high in my life before that.
This is my 4th year attending here at HTCI for the Parents Worship Day, and I love it. It's just so beautiful to see all the families loving one another. You know, born in America, you see Valentine's Day as what can I buy you and give you candy and rings and diamonds. But here it's just all about selfless love for everyone. You know, born in the United States, you don't see that much. And I think maybe just this small part just this small little building has helped raise the vibration of humanity, and if more people could embrace this, and I think it would change the world, and I think it already has. It's changed my world, so if I can change my world, then, you know, we've already changed the world.
We have called the senator to this, and they are overwhelmed by this event.
Children grow up to be is determined by the values that are instilled by their parents. And unfortunately, so much of our society today in this country, that's not occurring. And that's why so many of our children do end up lost along the way.
So I think exposing our kids to that kind of freedom, exposing India and looking up to that kind of freedom and a free society has a lot of dangers and perils which should be considered before just blindly looking up to everything that West does.
But what you do here in your community, the values that you instill in your children, the appreciation they show with their parent for that is so critical. And I think that shows why your children are growing up to be such fine members of society, leaders in our society.
Now some commercial force is coming and removing everything for their benefit. If you don't stop it in some way, they will take away everything. It must be done gently, sensibly, but unfortunately, because saner voices in the society never speak, the crude ones get onto the street and do the job. That's all that's happening. If saner voices speak, there will be no room for all those street goons to take up this job. It need not be policed, but education is needed, definitely.
We need to create awareness among teenagers about the impact, the ill effects, side effects of everything, not just Valentine's Day. So knowledge is the biggest power, and knowledge dispels ignorance, in my opinion. Most of these problems on Valentine's Day are because of ignorance. People are ignorant about what true love is, or people are ignorant about it's okay to be single on Valentine's Day.
I think while celebrating anything, it's okay to celebrate, but then we should not lose sight of the downsides of something. Because celebration for the sake of celebration, ignoring what all ills it can bring with it, I think that would not be very wise.
Being modern is perfectly fine, but being modern does not mean crossing the limits of morality.
Do you think our children are ready, their minds and bodies are ready for going on this romantic adventure? Are their bodies prepared for it? And if yes, then how would their docile and innocent minds deal with this kind of emotion?
Let's not fall prey to temporary emotions. Let's not go berserk just because somebody seduces us to do certain things. Somebody provokes us to do certain things. In fact, the most important thing or most important attribute of young person is not to be provoked in the wrong direction.
It's not just about Valentine's Day, Parents' Worship Day, or for that matter, celebrating any other day. It's about using your conscience and strong sense of judgment and discrimination before blindly following anything, before blindly following all these commercialized campaigns. Because what you do today shapes the quality of your life and of the coming future generation. It becomes a culture for them.